All right, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Central Texas, where we think more expansively, love more completely, and live more joyously. I'm glad y'all can read around the corner. That's good. Thank you to Clark for a wonderful singing meditation. There you go. All right. And we've got a couple of things coming up, but let's look at our opening affirmation on the top of page 4. We will say this together to come together in consciousness, and it says, "We believe that there is an infinite power and wisdom that creates everything. We are expressions of this same power and wisdom. The thoughts, beliefs, and expectations we entertain with the most energy become our experience of life. When we change our energy and our attention, our experience changes to match." All right. And a couple of quick announcements. We have a birthday girl in the house, Josephine. Yeah. That should be 60. All right. I'll be just about for that, miss. All right, good. do go on. Getting us there. Today we are also celebrating the birth of Paul Gauguin, who did impressions. No. Jessica Tandy, the great actress. Dean Martin. You know, he was always drinking apple juice. You always thought that was whiskey, but it was apple juice.
Cigarettes were real.
The cigarettes were real. I'm sure the whiskey was real other times too. Tal Farlow, who's a great jazz guitarist. Tom Jones, who didn't think it was unusual. And Liam Neeson, who will come get you if you take his daughter. And Prince Rogers Nelson. Aw, yeah. And Dave Navarro of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And Bill Hader, funny man from the Saturday Night Lives. All right. Let's say we've got the book study. We're going to start probably in a couple of weeks. The books will come in Friday, so we'll have them here next Sunday. And then you can get your own online too if you want that. But it's, you always talk about our part in the creative or I always talk about our part in the creative process, and Troa really lays it out very nicely in this writing. So now I'd like to invite Clark to come up and do an opening reading and treatment.
Thank you, Walt. I was going to do a quote by Thomas Troward today, but one sentence takes about 10 minutes to read, so I'll stick with a shorter thing. Today's reading comes from Robert H. Bitzer. It's a divine principle abundantly supplies all I need. The ever-responsiveness of divine principle assures me that whatever I need is always made manifest. My prosperity is not limited by things because I know that consciousness is the creative power. I know that God mind in me is right knowing. I have no fear of limitation because it can never be anything but a thought. Since I control what I think, I cannot be in bondage to any thought. The intelligence within me, which chooses the idea, is the same intelligence that releases it as a completed cycle. Divine principle expresses abundance in me at all times. Let us know that for ourselves, for all of ourselves personally, that abundance is always at hand. It's one of the infinite possibilities, but it is wrapped up in many of those possibilities. For it never is lessened by the giving, by the givingness of spirit, by grace to each of us, and by emulation of that action, that divine action. We gift others with abundance. sometimes this is not a conscious act, but just the way of our beingness. It's palpable, it's felt, it's known on a spiritual, higher level than just the everyday, which is still filled with abundance. It's everywhere we seek it and know it, within ourselves first, and then by extrapolation, we know this is a constant givingness, a constant state of knowing, of having a right mind in action, having an alignment within the laws, the law of abundance, the law of circulation that begins with giving. And this is known to those who are receptive and open to the actions of Spirit, knowing that they are what populates our thoughts and moves us and is our wholeness as we identify not only with that, but as that power and presence that permeates absolutely all. So I give thanks. I give thanks for grace because it's unearned. We need do nothing but accept, receive, accept, allow, and know it is constant as change. And I give thanks for all of that, all of the laws, the power of this word, moving law for specific purpose. Yea. And I release this now, knowing that speaking it is now law, corresponding perfectly, reliably, consistently. And knowing that this word and all of our words are demonstrated as effect in our experience here and now. And so it is now. And so it is that we have our lovely jazzy couple back, their first performance in this space with us now. Let me introduce Laura and Lawrence. Please come on up and do a song for us.
I feel like I'm on a tiny desk. Because it looks like that. Here? Okay. Oh, I forgot my egg. That pink egg right there. Yeah. Well, why don't you keep that and play that? Join in. No. I can do it, anybody can do it. It's fun anyway.
Sure.
And thank you for playing the egg.
You should care.
wonderful. It's marvelous that you should care for me. Nice. Wonderful, marvelous that you should care just for me. It's awful nice, sure like paradise. It's where I long to be. You make my now you can't blame me for feeling amorous. It's so wonderful, marvelous that you should care for me. For me. For me. Great egg shaking. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura and Lawrence. They will be back.
You forgot Clarkins.
Clark. It's all good. All right. Let me ask you something. What kind of shoes do frogs wear?
Hoppers.
Open-toed sandals. Wait here. Wait for it. Wait for it. It's my early Father's Day present. I'm going to share something with you. It's just random that happened this week, but I think it's interesting. I have always associated numbers, meaning to numbers, and since my birthday is 2-2, the number 2 catches my attention naturally. My mother was taught in my high school where it was room 222, which happened to be a show, and I had a big afro like Bernie on the thing. But this week, the number 1518 came to my attention. I was thinking about 1518, 1518, and I'm not looking at numerology. There's a whole field of science behind that. But I like to ask the box, what happened in 1518? And it said the most notable thing, besides the start of the spread of the British Empire, was the dancing plague of 1518. Have you ever heard of this? No, I hadn't either. And what happened is a lady started uncontrollably dancing in Strasbourg, and other people started doing it. And the theory is it's either mass hysteria or they all ate something that made it a little goofy. But this went on for weeks, and the government tried to get involved and say, no, you can't be dancing like that. And then they finally gave up because they couldn't stop it. So they gave them a dance hall and a band to dance to. So I thought that was interesting. Now, uncontrollable dancing is the most common critique that I get in all of my dance contest that I get in from the judges. But I come by it honestly because I was trained by Elaine on Seinfeld. All right, wait, where is it? Good. All right, on to more serious matters. All right, the title of my talk today is Time is on My Side. Yes, it is. Now, this is not the beginning of Rolling Stones month, okay, like we do Beatles month. It's just that I heard that song on the radio recently, and it caught my attention because it is a kind of a pattern interrupt to a common belief. As you know, I've been paying particular attention to pattern recognition since our recent pattern recognition series that we concluded last week. But just like so much else that we talk about, just because we stop talking about it doesn't mean it's not still relevant and still applicable. Now, there is a collective belief, and if you think about what a collective belief is, it's just an agreed upon pattern of thinking that we've collectively agreed upon. There's a collective belief about scarcity of time. Susan Ernst shares with us, millions long for immortality who don't know what to do with themselves on a rainy Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Now, artificial intelligence. Okay, it's a thing, and it's not going away. It is. But AI is about to give us lots more free time. The question is, what will we actually do with the big blocks of uninterrupted time that they're promising this will bring to us? And when AI swoops in and takes away most of our repetitive menial tasks, which is its current trajectory, one of the current purposes, what will we do with ourselves? And the ever more existential question becomes, if AI comes in and takes away my job, how am I going to earn a living? And that's yet another problem with our collective belief that our income, the source of our income, is our employment or our job. Because true wealth is when you're financially free, and financially free is when you can live comfortably off the return on your investments without having to touch the capital of the investment. Okay? So, love it, hate it, fear it, utilize it. AI is here, man. And as I said, it's not going anywhere. And it's becoming more relevant in our personal experiences all the time. Now, personally, one of my favorite uses of it lately is walking the dog and going down the sidewalk and saying, oh, that's a pretty flower, and taking a picture of the flower, and it will tell me what that flower is. Say, okay, that's cool. But as AI gets more integrated into our daily living, it will free up our time, our energy, our attention, and our resources, so we'll be able to redirect those in some other directions towards other things. And then that key equation, the ingredient to that equation is, what are those other things? What, you know? Just as a higher class of problems is figuring out, what will I do with all this money? There's another higher class of problems dealing with, what will I do with all this free time that I have? And for years or decades, even centuries actually, we have dreamt of leading more life-affirming and expansive life experiences on a regular basis. And those dreams are usually put off into the someday maybe file. Someday maybe later on, I'll get around to it. And then we fill in the blank. Get around to what? Once I have huge uninterrupted blocks of time, I can't even say it, I don't have enough. To devote to this massive change, to devote to this huge undertaking or this seismic shifts in my approach to the living of my life, once I have that, then I'll get started on it, right? But if the AI prognosticators are correct, that day is not some pie in the sky, far off in the distance, down the road thing only available to the select few. That day is fast approaching, not just on the distant horizon, but in the next few years. And even that is starting to get shrunk as AI builds upon itself. And so that intensifies the importance of what do we choose to fill in the blank with. So my encouragement to you now is start spending some of your time, some of your free time, because it doesn't cost you anything. What am I going to fill the blank in with? Start your list. Okay? These are things I would like to do someday maybe when I have free time. Okay? So AI is shifting our relationship with time, but it's also shifting our relationship with our goals and our attainment of our goals. Now, will there be disruption to our current way of doing things? The answer is always the same to that question. Hell, yes, there will be disruptions to our current way of doing things, right? Because there is no unchangeable one way to view or do anything, period. And as soon as we start identifying and codifying a way, we are actually in the process of gathering the data necessary to adjust and expand and replace that way. That's why nothing stays the same. I was sad to see El Mercado close. Okay, but nothing stays the same. Okay. Now, we can moan about it, or we can get purposefully involved in participating in the creation of the new way. So it's really a thing of fear or excitement, and the line in between those two can get a little blurry and become very fine at times. So we have the speed of change, the speed of life, which is really the speed of advancement and expansion. That's always growing faster and faster and faster because we're eternally figuring out new and more efficient ways to do the same things. And so that's why these lyrics to the song, "Time is on My Side," seem kind of counterintuitive to our popular belief that things decay and deplete over time. Power, influence, fame, all those things that ego longs for and strives for and will have us twist ourselves into pretzel shapes to attain, those things are fleeting at best, right? Now, that can be a realization for depression or that can be a realization for celebration. Because no one achievement, or actually no string of achievements, is the be-all, end-all of the way to do things. But here's the really good news. No one attempt at any desired achievement is the end of all possibility of that realization. Because in an infinite universe, there's always another possibility, there's always another opportunity, and there's always another way to do things. Jonathan Sachs shares, technology gives us power, but it does not and cannot tell us how to use that power. See, we've developed and adopted kind of a collective distrust and suspicion of technological advancements that actually dates back centuries, well, long before computers and whatnot. More recently, the Terminator movies and the impending doom of Skynet coming to get us. That technology, it fanned the flames of that innate fear of change. And what if that uncertainty was not something to be feared, but something to be celebrated and joyfully anticipated? What if you didn't spend all those hours every week earning enough money to live well? What if your daily living didn't take nearly as much energy and resources? Now, Tom and Clark, I'm going to warn you, you're in the front row. So you may want to brace yourself for this next one, because there could be a lightning strike. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. You got your reflection gear on? Are you well grounded? That's the real main question. What if AI is the Messiah? Not a God, no, but a method by which we attain true freedom, eternal support, and sustainable peace of mind. What if? Okay, we all live to tell the tale on that one. But really, what if our ancient stories weren't just old things that foretold the future? What if they weren't just cute and outdated, but what if they were really onto something? But there's a grain of truth to them, but the vernacular of the day wasn't capable and expansive enough to really encapsulate the idea or the promise. And those are good questions to ask ourselves, and good questions always lead to better answers, which always lead us to even greater questions and answers. Annie Dillard shares, how we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. Now, this belief in the scarcity of time, we've all felt that at certain times, especially when you're in rush hour traffic or something on your way to try and get somewhere, right? But belief in scarcity of time is just a tangent of a belief in scarcity of everything else. We can easily fall into the belief that everything is going to eventually run out. But here's another good question, as long as we're asking good questions. Do we believe that good things and experiences will run out faster than bad things and experiences? That one, answer that one, and it will tell you a lot about your expectations. Now look, someday we're going to run out of oil, right? It's going to happen, right? Because it's apparently a fairly finite resource. And the time it takes for Earth to replenish and process whatever it does to create oil is much greater than our rate of extraction and consumption. It's just a math thing that's going to run into a thing. So yeah, we need alternative energy sources. We do. But it's actually that very realization that there is a need for another way that is the answer. By the time we seriously deplete the oil reserves, we will have already figured out the next thing to do. Now look around you and see how prevalent electric cars, hybrid cars, and electric mowers have become in our society, in our modern living, in a relatively short amount of time in the grander scheme of things. At one time in the not too distant past, the idea of a fully electric car, or even a hybrid, split electric car, it was science fantasy. Okay? And now they represent about 22% of the market as far as sales in 2025. The point being that technology advances exponentially building upon its previous achievements and accomplishments. And guess how we live our life? The exact same way. Building exponentially upon our previous accomplishments and achievements and awareness. And we do that individually and we do that collectively. And a good thing I like to do every once in a while is just look at what the social norms are now compared to 100 years ago. A lot different, but perfectly normal now, and in the grander scheme of humanity, 100 years is not much. Right? Zig Ziglar shares, people often complain about lack of time when the lack of direction is the real problem. I just don't have the time. I just can't afford to be sick right now. And what those ideas or those statements are, is a realization and a quick calculation of the available time and resources compared to the imagined amount of energy and time and resources necessary to successfully complete whatever's before us. I heard myself say this week, okay, I'll just make the time. Make the time. Where am I making time, right? What that really is saying is a realization that I need to prioritize my time and my resources. And don't any of you ever try to sell me this next one. I just don't have time for a
regular spiritual practice.
Don't even start. I'm not buying. You're not selling. There's a no soliciting sign on my door on that subject, right? Okay. No, 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 no. You want to know just how much extra time you have in your life? How many of us are busier than we've ever been? I know after I retired from my day gig, I'm busier than I ever was at my day gig. But how many of you are busy? You got a full calendar, you got somebody offers you a great opportunity, and you're like, yeah, I got to think about it. How do I squeeze this into my full calendar? You want to know exactly how much extra time you got? Do you? That would be, it's not a rhetorical question. Fall madly in love. Ooh, all of a sudden you discover all kinds of time, energy, and resources that you would have sworn vehemently Last week, you didn't have any of it. I'm so busy, there's no time for anything else new. Unless it's him or her. And then that shifts all the priorities, right? Rabindranath Tagore, that's how we say that in Texas, says the butterfly counts not months but moments and has time enough. Like, man, there will not be more time later on at some special day unless you get to spring and get your hour back. That's really just the hour you gave away in the fall, right? There's always the same amount of time. There is always only now. And it's more about how we choose to utilize this moment we have. And the only moment we ever have is now, this moment. And now, this moment, and this moment, and so on and so on. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Ooh, sha-sha. We got it. We'll leave the singing to the singer.
Yes, please.
Please. I'm going to keep singing until you give a bigger collection. That's how that works. And another thing, we have to be careful when we start saying, okay, I'm prioritizing, because we can fall into something Bob shared with us when he spoke about shoulding on ourselves, right? Because should can be closely aligned with judgment, or should can be an awareness of the power of choice. In the good book, or in that good book, one of the many good books, says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Turn. There is a season. Yay. There's a rhythm. Hey. There's an order. And our wonderful teaching teaches us that we live in a universe of law, not chaos. We live in a universe of cause and effect, where consciousness takes form and thought backed by feeling becomes experience, where life responds to us at the level of our acceptance and understanding. So, when I say time is on my side, I am not saying I'm just going to sit on the couch, lay back, and the universe is going to do my laundry, it's going to clean my garage, it's going to take care of all my relationships, and it's going to get me in shape. Woohoo, this is, time is on my side. All time is on my side means is I gain clarity about my part in the creative process, which is what we'll be talking about in Troward's book. It means I'm not trying to make the law work. Holmes says we do not have to make the law work. It is its nature to work. We don't have to make the law work. It is always working already. So the question becomes not does the law work, or is there a law that I'm living in the midst of? The question is, what am I giving the law to work with? That is the question. Because consciousness creates, and time becomes the field in which the seed of consciousness has room to grow. And our part of the creative process is to focus on the what and the why of our desire, and leave the why up to the infinite, because that's where it belongs. And the timing is often part of the how. Whether our timing seems to be impeccable or whether our timing seems to be horrible, it's the same. One problem we have is that too often we misinterpret delay as denial. Yeah? But much of life's deepest work happens on an invisible level before it ever becomes visible. Think of all the things in nature that happen before you ever see the plant pop through the thing, or the baby come out of the womb, or whatever. Affirm this with me. My life unfolds within the infinite. My life unfolds within the infinite. Life is moving through me right now.
Life is moving
Through me right now. And I am available to greater good in this moment.
I am available to greater good in this moment.
Good. Good job. Yeah, life is for me. Life is for me, and law is available right here and right now. And the moment I'm in, the situation I'm in, the group I'm in, whatever it is never an obstacle to my greater good. It's the place where my greater good begins. And time is on my side because every moment gives me an opportunity to align more closely with truth, with flow. Every moment, every single moment, even the messy ones, maybe especially the messy ones. Sometimes what we call waiting is really life just helping us become congruent with the thing we say we want. I want this, but I don't really want to have to change. Just gimme. Right? The waiting can often be, it's our way of taking time to get clearer about the mental equivalent we're creating that gets us up and out of our habitual patterns and into the paradigm that gets us in alignment with that desire. Dr. Holmes goes on, he shares, the law operates upon acceptance through our belief at the level of our faith according to our recognition. Why they say, as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. Life is eternally unfolding from this to that, from here to there, from now to then. Yeah? And our time is our personal and collective experience of that unfolding. Life's unfolding according to the level of our belief and acceptance, according to our recognition. And the more we observe and the more we understand, the more reliably we can anticipate what's next. So yeah, we need to reference the past. We need to reference the future quickly to assure our current trajectory is sending us in the desired direction. But our life is lived here and now in this very moment. And as we pay the greatest attention we can in this very moment, as we pay choose as wisely as we can, and as we keep our divine intention for being here in the forefront of our observing and engaging as much as we can, we start to have better moments now. We start to have better experiences now. And we start to expand our awareness and understanding now. And that makes better moments right now for us. And as we string together those better moments more frequently, more consistently, more intentionally, by default we're adding something magnificent and wonderful and inspiring to the collective mix, which helps us. Yeah, it does, but most certainly does, but it helps all those around us as well at the very same time. So we turn this time into the best of times. And so it is now.